Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. We just completed the main story for Soul Sacrifice Delta. Congratulations! It's like we just finished the tutorial. You know how hunting games are. We've got tons of stuff left. I mean, I could easily think of a good 20, 30 more videos of fun stuff and original stuff to do. There's that much. But for this time, we're going to be wrapping up the story because there are a few more really important stories left that will give you some really good insight into the game. So the first one I want to show before we go into the stories for Sanctuarium. I don't know if I've shown this before. I think I have. But after you beat Magusar the first time, this appears. So this has been here for a while now. If we press X, it says that it has your inscription, Cyrix Camlin, my name. It's actually really interesting where that name comes from, and we're about to find out. You can actually restore to pre-revision if you want to do something in that part of the game where you can do nothing, and you can zip in between the two. Just having it here, though, it just denotes that this is pre-revision. So you got to think of those two as different things. Okay, so what we want to do is go into the book, read journal, and we're going to be going over to Sanctuarium. For some reason, the game did not actually have a flag on here to let you know that these unlocked. So if you did finish the story, if you played this game, you may have missed these actually. So if you did, hopefully you'll enjoy them. They're quite interesting. So there's 3 stories. It's called The Survivors, The Opening, Continuation, and The Closing, and they're all unlocked, I'm guessing at the same time, or maybe they unlocked one at a time in the final 2 chapters, but the final 2 chapters are so saucy that, like, how can you stop playing, right? You just end up going all the way through. So let's start it off.
These are the memories of the survivors. It is my duty to tell of the cataclysm witnessed by mankind. That a cursed sorcerer would bring about the end of the world. No one believed this prophecy, save the heretics of Grimm. But one day, all would see the man who would destroy the world. They say his right arm was covered with countless wicked eyes. Now, though he was taken for a man, at times his mask would slip. Should the mood take him, he would take the vile form of a dragon. And hordes of monsters would trail in his great shadow. What people in such times could think to bicker with one another? Avalon, Sanctuarium, Grimm. Their 3 leaders held a meeting. Terwin, Grimm's hierarch, disclosed her plan and asked the others' aid. The cornerstone of her plan was to be Persapius's Ars Magica. She entreated him for it, yet Persapius would only shake his head. No. The old man had no time for Grimm's machinations. Negotiations broke down, and the meeting ended a fruitless endeavor. Lanixian, the leader of Sanctuarium, spoke not a word for the duration of the meeting. She felt lost. Was preaching salvation really the thing to do in these grave times? The hordes of monsters had only grown, and the world was in chaos. One's reason becomes increasingly frail as terror encroaches. And unshackled from reason, man let the darkness wash over him. A vicious cycle followed. The panic produced yet more monsters, which in turn fanned the flames of fear. Not even Sanctuarium could escape from this terrible vortex. Followers of the faith started turning into monsters themselves. Burdened by their cruel fate, those that had been saved began to question their faith. All Lenixian could preach to her flock was the message of prayer. That even in such dire times, one must not give in to selfishness. It was a beautiful message, but one that fell on deaf ears. One that couldn't placate the cries for a clear road to salvation. Eventually, voices of criticism coming from Sanctuarium's inner circle came to the fore, saying kindness wouldn't save them. Members of the flock abandoned Sanctuarium in droves. Only a handful remained. Those few heeded Lenixian's words and continued to pray fervently. Then, without warning, an eerie stillness settled over the world. The monsters vanished. The miasma that choked the skies lifted. Revealing a gentle smile, Lenixian declared to her followers that their prayers had been heard. The devout few were jubilant. However, there was one man who remained unmoved. Egress, Lenixian's number one. The man once known as the Mage Slayer. Without hesitation, he asserted,
"It must be a trap."
Lenixian admonished him.
You are far too anxious, Egress.
But Egress was not convinced.
The world is not so kind as to let mere prayer save us.
Such objections were only natural for a man of his disposition. But to the people of Sanctuarium, his words were anathema.
I am aware the world is cruel.
The disappointments of reality were in fact Sanctuarium's lifeblood, for it was ideals that they offered. That was the first time Lenixian had ever rebuked her friend. And so she excommunicated Egress from Sanctuarium. He left without a word, his expression completely occluded by the scars of sacrifice that he bore. How long had it been since Egress left? The world around Lenixian crumbled. The azure skies overhead felt no more real than a canopy. The husks of dreams rained down. When she awoke, Lenixian realized what had happened and despaired. The world had not been saved by prayer. It was Terwin's scheme. Her plan to have mankind share a world of dreams. The illusion conjured up by Grimm offered only a fleeting peace. It was for naught. The fires yet raged on, and monsters still roamed. Egress's words pierced Lenixian's heart through. The world is not so kind as to let mere prayer save us. Reality hounded the idealist savior all the more furiously. All Lenixian could do was watch. Watch as those dear to her became monsters. The staunchest followers who had stayed by her side, they would all give in, becoming monsters themselves. They could not survive without Lenixian. Buffeted by fear, Lenixian's words were their only respite. That all-consuming dependency was the trigger for their descent. Dread lurked in Lenixian's heart. She did not realize it herself, but to her obsessive followers it was all too obvious, and it spread. Mere reverence for Lenixian was not enough for them to cope. In the depths of their despair, they wanted to have Lenixian herself, their only sanctuary. They began to worship her. They believed that by melding with Lenixian, their one respite, their fears would be dispelled. And so the monsters attacked her to sacrifice and absorb her.
Have I failed them?
Perhaps it had all been wishful thinking. In the face of such horrors, her ideals rang hollow. Certainly in no state to preach ideals. With the end of the world at hand, what use would her lofty ideas be? Darkness began to cloud her mind. And then the white wind came, as if to dispel this dark haze. A sacrifice-scarred man in white. It was the former Mage Slayer, the man Lenixian spurned. Igris, holding back Lenixian. Igris faced the monsters in her stead.
I have been cast out. I should be the one to join this slaughter.
He was no longer of Sanctuary, and so, no matter what he did, it would never sully Lenixian's ideals. It was as if his words hid this appeal to Lenixian, or had his dispute with her all been a ruse from the start. Perhaps he'd anticipated this, and came to assume the burden of sin. Igris let loose the bloodlust that had lain dormant in his broken body. As if it were his calling, he said to her,
I shall assume the mantle of the Mage Slayer once more.
A ghastly bloodbath ensued. Igris turned to Lenixian and spoke again.
It matters little to me how stained in blood I may become, but you must not follow my path. Cry out the song of salvation. You can do what a man drenched in blood cannot.
The heavy scarlet of his victim's blood seeped through his robes.
You have walked a path paved with dreams. Reality is less forgiving. Yet, without ideals, this world is no more than a living hell. Your path has brought light to the lives of many, just as I was shown the light when I was a monster.
The battle that had unfolded was worthy of the Mage Slayer's name. Felling and sacrificing his foes one after the other, he tore through the monster's ranks. And he paid the price for his sorcery with his tattered body. He knew all too well what end his actions would bring. His humanity began to wane, but his resolve had been steeled. He would take his own life before he became a monster. Having offered his heart, from his mouth he drew the great blade his sacrifice had summoned. Excalibur. It is said that the rite normally produces a dark crimson glow, but the light given off by Igris shone a pale white. A pallid glow ensconced the accursed blade. Was this the spirit of Igris himself? Lenixian ran to Igris's side and cradled him in her arms.
I am a sinner, a murderer, a monster born of foolishness. Yet, despite that, you absolved me, a monster, of my sins. To those you have cleansed, you are the light. You must not let your light be sullied by sin.
Lenixian gripped Igris's sacrifice-worn hand tightly.
I do not want to see you stained with blood, even if the world ends. If rancor consumes it all, do not fall into sin like me. Not you.
Lenixian nodded, and, stifling her tears, said,
You are pure now. You needn't let past sins weigh upon you anymore.
Thank you. Thank you for saving me.
The blood-stained path of the Mage Slayer came to its end. In his final words, he spoke thus.
This is the death I wanted. Death with gratitude.
It's so easy to forget that this is a localization, that it was written in another language, another culture, with, different timings and all these things. Then beautifully translated into English, given to wonderfully talented voice actors, a keen ear on the director, and they were able to record English that is so well done that if you were to give it to people, they would not think that it's a translation. They would think that this was originally written in English. It's that good. Like, I've played a lot of localized games, and this is at a level that is just almost unparalleled. There's a few other games that come to mind, but oh man, it's so good. So let's go into the Survivors closing. So, I want to give commentary here just so there's a difference between this and the story video, but Igris is such a good character. And again, he reminds me so much of like Garrus from Mass Effect because he's such a paragon. He's not perfect, but he represents something that is really strong and pure. So I was really happy to read the story of his final ending and how he protected his friend Sympatha or Lenixian. Okay, let's go into the Survivors closing.
The last of the monsters felled by the Black Rite gave a low groan and shed its monstrous form. It was a man, and now the sole survivor of the Sanctuarium flock. Lenixian rose and approached him. Aware of his sin, the man's eyes welled up with tears.
Forgive me.
It was Lenixian who apologized.
I should have done more to give you hope. Forgive me.
The man wept. His tears glistened in the light. But what light did they reflect? The two were illuminated by a brilliance radiating from above. Lenixian gazed upwards and saw the white chalice. Only the cruelest mind could devise such a terrible artifact. As if waiting for this moment, it whispered its temptations. Should you wish that the lives of your allies be restored, offer me the life of your companion. Lenixian could detect the intent behind those words. The cruel intent to distill mankind down to its ugliest elements. Her mind was free from doubt.
You must never lose your way, even in a ruined world.
Igris's words spurred her on.
You cannot grant my wish, Chalice.
Her wish was to change this world, where one could sacrifice another. Yet, the chalice did not respond. There was an eerie stillness. The man with Lenixian was also gazing at the chalice.
Does he see it too?
The man could also hear the voice of the sacred chalice. He had heard its offer too. The man wore an expression of bewilderment, and with that, she called the man's name.
Preso Camlan.
She seemed pleased somehow, glad that she could say these words.
I forgive you, even if you sacrifice me.
She could not let the fear of death shake her faith, nor could she betray her followers. At world's end, one faces the true test of how one lives and how one dies. The path one walked is the only thing one can truly pass on.
I forgive all the injustices of this world.
Preso wept and cried out, and he pleaded contrition. By the time Lenixian clasped Preso's hand, the chalice had vanished. The world continues its slide into absolute chaos. The few remnants of humanity hide themselves away from the monsters. Meanwhile, the cursed sorcerer tightens his grip on the world. He sends magical creatures to snatch away the survivors and sacrifices them with cold nonchalance. Lenixian and Preso set out together in search of survivors. Slowly but surely, people begin to gather around her once again. The reborn sanctuarium becomes the last hope of humanity. Hidden from the monsters, those survivors cling to their lives. Lenixian. Her name is the sole light that peers through the cataclysm. These are the memories of the survivors of the end of the world. The memories of Lenixian and Preso, my mother and father. As the heir to her storied name, I offer these notes in gratitude. And I dedicate them to all who have sung the song of salvation since.
The third Lenixian, Preco Camlan.
Camlan. I've heard this name before. Have you any idea where?
So now, this becomes a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? That the name of the person in the cell for this I don't know what you want to call it, this particular branch of reality, this pass looks like a Camelin as well. Now, there's a lot of story. There's a lot of things that we can get into. I still need to get a grasp on everything myself. There's still a few loose ends that I'm picking up, but I do plan to do a lore video where we sort of go over putting it all together, like what actually happened, because there is still a little bit of air of mystery here. And of course there is some room for interpretation, which is always good. So, in order to also make this a little bit different than the story walkthrough which I've been doing, which is going to end on this episode, because there is no more story, so to say. I mean, there's stories, but not like, playthrough. So for this video, what we're going to do is read the story of Alice and the Grimoire, and then we're going to do 3 floors in the Alice's maze, because that will help set up some of the other stuff. We have so many cool things to cover here, like the first Persepius. Trust me, you get to fight him in the game. It's really fun. Lots of stuff to go through, but I think Alice is a good place for us to branch off at. So Alice and the Grimoire. There once was a sorceress called Alice. She was a brilliant sorceress and obeyed the code above all else. The life of a sorcerer is rife with injustice. No matter how much they devote themselves to the code, every sorcerer meets the same fate. Souls led to sacrifice continue to accumulate in their right arms, and sooner or later they reach their limit. They meet their doppelganger, their monstrous reflection. Having spent her life dedicated to the code, Alice realized in her twilight years she had little time left. There were 2 things remaining that she wanted to achieve in life. The first was the discovery of a place called Wonderland. Wonderland, a realm that exists somewhere in this world, a land filled with dazzling sights, a vanishing cat, an endless tea party, the card soldiers that play. Rumor had it that those who wandered into Wonderland would be trapped there until they died. It was as if the realm wanted to keep them as playmates. Wonderland was said to be the result of one young girl succumbing to her desires. Alice set out in search of this dangerous land, and she meant to liberate it. It was her duty as a mother. The creator of Wonderland was none other than Alice's daughter. Alice never noticed how lonely her daughter was. Her daughter had only wanted her mother's attention. This desire was powerful enough to summon up a fantastic new land. When and where her daughter's monstrous transformation began, even her mother knew not. But ever was Alice haunted by a single thought. Alice had wished beyond all else to find her daughter before she herself became a monster. She used all of her sorceress power, mighty as it was, to gather tidings of Wonderland. This was to lead her to the creation of a new form of magic, one ideal for the finding of things. Now she can convey her thoughts to those in distant lands. If she would to ask the question, "Where's Wonderland?" surely someone in this wide world would answer. But such great and powerful sorcery came with a terrible price. Conveying your words cost you your tongue. Sharing what you had seen cost you an eye. Through the application of this sorcery on the battlefield was limited, and it could only disseminate a scant amount of information at once. Clever use would allow one to share all 5 senses with others. Alice's new sorcery would come in later days come to be called the Grimoire, and would be designated as a black rite. So it was Alice sacrificed her own tongue to appeal to the people far and wide. "Who knows of Wonderland and my daughter's whereabouts?" she asked. But she did not stop there. Next was to go for one of her eyes, for she had conveyed a memory of her daughter's likeness across the world wide. But despite her great sacrifice, not one person did she find could offer her a clue. To her great disappointment, she realized that she didn't have enough time left to find it. Alice looked for someone to carry on her duties in her stead. That was the second thing she wanted to achieve. She wanted to train a successor. The loss of her daughter only bolstered her desire for someone to inherit her aspirations, and she intended to entrust the seeking and liberation of her daughter to the one who would follow in her footsteps. As she finally approached death, Alice saw a wondrous vessel before her. Alice knew what it was. It was none other than the sacred chalice. She already knew what her wish was to be, and offered up her body. She would create a space in which her successor would be trained, called Alice's Hollow. It was perfect for training sorcerers. In the hollow, the monsters Alice once fought would live again. Mock battles with monsters would take place there. The sorcerers found Alice's hollow a very useful asset indeed for many years. It was said the very voice of Alice could be heard from its walls and ceiling. And there she would initiate them into the secrets of grimoire and other sorceries she had devised. However, Alice herself, though transformed into this place, grew more and more disappointed, for none of the sorcerers who came there were deemed worthy of succeeding her, and not one believed in Wonderland. It was hardly surprising, really. After all, there was no record of Alice ever having had a daughter. It was a classic symptom for those who had become monsters, the greatest of injustices to strike a sorcerer down. That is, the meshing of the hosts and the prison's recollections, trapping the hapless sorcerer in an impossible memory, like being lost in an illusion. Wonderland itself only existed in Alice's mind, but to her it was something that existed without a doubt. Before she had become a monster, Alice had used the Black Rite grimoire to disseminate as much information as she could, and yet not a single person responded. Perhaps she was doomed from the start, for rumor had it she was a compulsive liar. That no one believed her was, therefore, no surprise. Why did no one believe her? Alice couldn't understand. Alice fixated on one desire, to prove that she had lived. She had dedicated herself so utterly to the code. She absolutely could not die without her life having had meaning. So it was Alice once again who used grimoire, the black rite of her own creation, to appeal to the people world over. Please believe me, she implored. But since she was now the hollow itself and had no body of her own left, she had to capture visiting sorcerers to sacrifice in her black rites. Yet ironically, this new form of hers became known as Alice's Wonderland, a name which sorcerers would tremble. No soul now dares tread that terrible place. Stray into Alice's Wonderland and you are doomed to die, for you will be sacrificed so that she may cry her heart out to the world. And if Alice's mind speaks to you from afar one day, pity the hapless victim she just claimed as a sacrifice there in her hollow of horrors. This is no cautionary fable. Alice's fate can befall any sorcerer. One might even say that as long as the code exists, there is always a Wonderland within every sorcerer. There are none now who use grimoire, the black rite of Alice's creation. Grimoire, as many might know, is a word denoting a tome that instructs sorcerers in the use of magic. This conveyance and dissemination of information, much like Alice's black rite, makes such tomes things of exceeding power. It's a very dark story, isn't it? Let's go visit it. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? After all, we are not at Int 34 intelligence, which means we can't unlock the extreme rites, the extreme packs yet. But we're almost there. So the best way to get a bunch of offerings that you don't have and raise your intelligence very fast at the end of the main story is to do Alice's Eternal Maze. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, I'm going to aim for like floor 30 or 50. It's not like that. This place is tough. Like, the most recommendation is to start out going floors 1, 2, 3 and get out, because you can get out at every third floor. Once you get really good, you can get to floor 6, then floor 9, 12, 15. I have not personally gone to floor 30 yet, but that is where you get to fight Alice. And you fight her before that, but she always runs away. But that is where you can actually defeat her. There's teams that have gone to like floor 500, and I think it takes something like 20 hours or something crazy or longer. So yeah, it's a crazy endless challenge. There is a reward you get for reaching like floor 100 or floor 102 or something crazy like that. Thank goodness it's not part of the trophies, so you can platinum this game without having to get crazy with it. So let's go into the gullible Alice's Hollow. So you can see I actually did one floor here once. It took 8 minutes at the time. So rewards. In Alice's Eternal Maze, ripe souls of life essence are easily absorbed, offering rewards vary based on overall score. So this is really nice. This is Alice's place. We can start using rumors, like a lot of them. So let's put it up on the board. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so it's as long as it's not grayed out, it works. So this works as a pact, so that's good. And we already read the lore on Alice. Let's arm ourselves. So the whole thing about Alice's place is that you are easily to run out of offerings because the monsters get harder and harder, and you don't always, it's like a boss rush. You don't always have small monsters there to replenish your offerings. And each floor you're given a mushroom, and only one, and you can carry them over to the next floor, and you can have, I think, up to 8. So it's a lot about resource management, which is why blood is so popular for using the dungeon. It's far better than anything else, I think. Let's go ahead and change our raiments because that has been a question or a desire from people for a while now. This weird collaboration stuff. The Gravity Days girl. What was her name? Kat, I think. So what outfit do we want to use? Stranger. We've got all these different colors. Knight. Conjurer. How about the hunter? We've got faction, or we have color. So let's take the faction for hunter, and we can press the triangle button to just match it. What do you think? It looks like we're a white wolf. The black arm stands out, but I kind of like the fact that it stands out like that. It's pretty cool. And we can do some accessories. We can add on hats and stuff like that. Hey, Pard. Or we can go pure. That's actually not a bad idea. But no, we'll keep the hood. It's part of the costume, so to say. And it's cool. You can change your gender anytime you want. So if you want to go in between the male outfits and female ones, you can change it all you want. We are as fluid as we like, which is great. Now, when you pick your allies for the maze, you definitely want to have Sympatha. I don't know any case in which you wouldn't want her with you. The maze is doable online with other players, but if you don't have the online pass, or if you're like me, I actually prefer hunting with the NPCs because they have unlimited offerings. And then it means all the refreshing things are for me only. Then Sympatha is just, she's so good. So Sidra's only affinity B. We need to raise her up. Sympatha's S. So let's raise Sidra. At this point, we should have tons of extra offerings to offer her. I don't see something like I have 20 of it or anything like that, which does happen as we get farther in the game. So I'm going to leave it there. So we have A, which is good. She's got gold spells. Yeah. I'm feeling good about this. Then as far as our theme, we don't need God Slayer, of course. We can go ahead and put on the other level of Cursed Part Breaker because we want to break as many parts as we can, because each floor in Alice's counts as its own thing. So the points that you get for like those healings and stuff like that, you can get those every single floor, which is great. So let's where's our blood magic? We have such horrible blood magic. We haven't done like anything. It's so bad. I have, you know, max blood 7 and 6 on my Japanese save, so this hurts my eyes to even see. Fruits are good. I don't think we need a platform here, so I'm going to swap that for the healing because I want to get the increases for that, and we definitely want armor. Okay, I think we are ready to do some Alice. Off we go. In Alice's Eternal Maze, exit the door that appears when the objective is met for a reward. Do you wish to enter? Yes. I really enjoy this area. It's creepy. It's got like this teapot of blood in the middle, and you get a random boss. You don't know what you're going to get. It's completely random. So it's exciting. And they get hard very fast. It's not like they make you drudge through like 10 floors of easy stuff and then it gets difficult. No. First 3 floors, then we're on to like end game level hard. It's fantastic. So what do we draw? So the first floor is always a single monster, I believe. Who do we draw? I think we got the Naked King.
To avoid confrontation.
I want to say we got the Naked King. But,
Greed has spawned this monster. We must bring it to heel.
is it the Naked King? I want... No, it looks like a wyvern, maybe. I don't know. I'm such an idiot, I don't even know. Some armor. We actually probably don't need to do all this stuff. Oh, I have on a spear? Why do I have a spear? That's dumb.
We must pacify this beast.
So this is obviously an area we are not going to be wanting to use our boosting, like our charged chain attack, because that's going to use up an entire offering, and that would suck. So we don't want to do that. So now we got everyone together. Let's get a group heal in here. Kumbaya moment. Get those points. They're going to count for every single floor. That perfect healer is a great one. And then as we save a life, we're going to get 2 casts back, which will replenish both the spear that I used and the healing. So this is all about resource management. Let's go, girls.
Spirit of salvation shines hope on the world.
Awesome. Now, the objective is met. Let's go ahead and quick collect these. These things are going to become really handy as we go through stuff. If you notice, every now and then you will get a rare pink one. This is crazy awesome. So it allows you to revive yourself. So if you die and you're a ghost running around, you can use this to go back to humanity. So this is like when you see this, you can go and just like go crazy and let yourself die, and then revive yourself to get everything back restored. So you have 30 seconds here, a countdown to collect what you want and then get on the teapot. It makes it sound like if you don't get on the teapot, then you're going to miss out on the elevator, but that's not the case at all. You can actually stay around collecting stuff as long as you want. But once you go to the elevator, all buffs, everything is negated. And it's time to load in to a new area. Second floor, I think it's a Gemini. I think it's 2 monsters at once, but we'll see. It follows a pattern, but the monsters you get are crazy random. Like, I've gotten, just one more floor and I'll get to the exit, and boom, I pull like a Romulus and Cert or something horrible like that. So what do we got here? No, this is a single one. Okay, so the next floor is probably an Archfiend. So the rabbit only appears once on a floor. This is really nice. So if you kill the rabbit, it's got a special ability. You can either save one of the offerings you have that you've exhausted, or you can restore your black rights, which means that I can go right now and do a black right if they hit me. Oh, they're going to kill the queen, the elven queen, before that happens. Unless I can get her to hit me. Hit me! I want to use my black right. Come on, hit me. I'm not even going to attack you. Come on. Come on, hit me. This will come more in handy in later floors, as you'll see. Right now, I mean, Sympatha could take this monster alone and be totally fine. Okay, let's use blood, actually, to run down our health. That works. I forgot that I can do that. There we go. Let's do the right. Gah. What do I even have on right now? Oh, I have the one where I can trap the boss, which is really good for Alice's Maze because... Oops, I gotta get closer. Get closer. Trap her. Your teammates will certainly kill monsters when you have them trapped for this long. My character looks pretty sexy in that outfit. Go get her! Will they kill the Elven Queen while I have her wrapped up or not? What sucks is when if you do this spell and then somebody like dies right afterwards, it always kind of sucks because at that point, there's no one left to attack. So we're going to go and find, where is it? The rabbit. If you notice, we can then restore our... See, Sympathetic will heal me anytime I'm under 20% health, and boom, our black right is back. We can use it again, or we can just now enjoy the fact that we don't have to be disadvantaged, which is nice. So let's take care of her. Down she goes. I'm gonna quick look for some collectibles, edibles. Yeah. Okay, let's save her. We're saving everybody tonight.
Salvation shines hope on the world.
This Alice's Maze is such a brilliant idea. You see how they take all these really cool systems in the game and they wrapped it in lore in a way that makes really good sense. Like, it doesn't feel forced at all. Okay, so the whole thing with Alice's Maze is once you're in here, you can only escape on floors of multiples of 3. So floor 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so forth. There's my mushroom. I get 1. Yay. I'm going to let it carry. I don't need to use it. So that'll carry over and we'll have 2 mushrooms on the next floor. And we can stock these at the entrance, up to 8 of them. That's going to be coming really handy when we have really hard boss battles. We're going to run out of some offerings if we're not careful. We can run around here. I think Alice's Maze is the allure of playing with others. People really enjoy getting up in groups and playing it together because you can really strategize. And you get 1 mushroom for each player, each human player, which is great. Okay, now we got Geminis. So we have 2 monsters. We've got Terwin, and who else? Oh, and we've got Behemoth. Oh, she's going to be troublesome because she'll keep healing herself. So let's take care of Terwin first. Let me buff up here. Yeah, because Behemoth, or not Behemoth, Minotaur, if you remember, she has her grandmother's axe. She'll keep, she'll just totally destroy, keep healing herself until you either get her down to yellow health, which is really hard to do later in the game, or you break the axe, which is probably more realistic. Oh shoot, I'm almost dead. I need to be careful. I can't see anything. These are really great, visual tricks and effects, though. I mean, this is Vita, remember? She's red. She's almost dead. Okay, good. Let's not be foolish here. Oh, she's gone. Okay, so Terwin's gone. We got Minotaur at green, so she's just gonna keep replenishing it. We might want to use a mushroom soon because our spear's not gonna last forever. You see how this is an arena? We don't have many places to refresh our offerings, so we got to be very careful about how we use them. So I'm trying to break off the mask. You can break off the mask if you aim at an angle with a spear. Okay, so Sidra destroyed Grandma. Good job, girl. We're going to try to finish off Minotaur while we still have this 1 usage. If not, we'll switch over to Blood. It's no big deal. She's got the shield up. Oh, come on! You were supposed to go after Sidra. She had a shield up. And she's raging. You notice that she's got this aura around her. It's because she's in a rage. I don't know what the term they're using. I think it's furious. But there's a special type of sort of anger that they can have, which just makes them a more buffed version of the normal monster. You can actually make it happen during normal packs through some of the rumors. They can randomly be like enraged like this. It's different from like an enraged state, like when you get them in low health. But they do a lot more damage. But they also give out a lot more experience. It's quite nice. Okay, so let me get the group heal here so we can get the points, 'cause I forgot to do that last floor. There we go. I'll give her a save. And the question becomes, do I go for floor 6, where we meet Alice for the first time, or do I stick at floor 3 and run away and grab whatever spoils I can earn? See, it's giving me the chance to exit. And that's where you exit. You go in here and you just hit exit and you can leave. If we die while we're in this, it doesn't matter if we've been playing for 10 hours, 5 hours, 24 floors, 30 floors, it doesn't matter. If you die, like everyone in the team dies, you get nothing. Good day, sir. So high risk. It gets very, the tensions become very high later. If you were able to keep everything, then you would just go in there and not think about it. But this is for YouTube, and I want to show you Alice, so we're going for it. So in floors 4, 5, and 6, there's one of the floors is going to give us small fiends instead of like an arch fiend. That's a good floor to replenish your offerings, which is why I don't need to use a mushroom right now, because I know that that floor is going to come. And you'll start learning the patterns of Alice's maze. And once you get like really powerful with the sigils and everything, you'll be able to blow through the first 6 floors pretty fast. But you get really good stuff. So this is probably going to be an arc fiend. Okay, so we're already in extreme. You see this? No, this is just creatures. But did you notice we're now in extreme? We're in difficulty 11. So we haven't even unlocked that in the base game, like outside of Alice's maze. Our intelligence isn't high enough. We need to be at 34. So this is exciting. Extreme quests, as they call it. Extreme. For an extreme challenge. It's like the 1990s ads on TV. Extreme. 2 X's. Extreme sacrificing. Extreme saving. Now I sound like a salesman. That's right, you can get extreme savings on a new car. Gosh. Okay, let's kill some of these. You see now that we're starting to get +++ essences. Those are unique to extreme quests. Those are the rare ones that you can earn from monsters. They're not so rare. Obviously, small monsters are killing a bunch, so you know it's not a cause for celebration or anything. It's nice, but not that huge. But this is a floor that's really good for just restoring your offerings. And these little circles are so good because you can heal faster, you can cast faster, you can do everything faster in this circle. Oh, we still have... Oh, we have a gold snail. Yes. This is what it looks like. I was going to try to run away. No. Shoot. Come back here. Okay, 14 seconds. Right out of time. Come on. 1,225. Yes. Got it. Oh, that's awesome. Look at the levels just go up. Oh man, that's so good. I really don't want to die now. I want to make it to floor 6. I mean, the good news is we have a S rank Sympatha, and I have confirmed I've died on floor 9 on a Gemini with double gods, and she was able to take down both of them just alone, even with me dead. So I'm actually in really good hands with Sympatha at S. She's so OP. Her healing is just off the wall. You see how the mushrooms are starting to gather? We've got 1, 2, 3 stockpiles of them now. They're just going to keep going. So if we don't use them, we'll get 4 in the next one. It'll be nice. I'm not too worried about the NPCs right now. Oh, we got Incubus. Okay. Because if they die and I have to save them, that's a good chance to earn those Warlock and Witch type of essences. So I'm not too worried about them. I'm more worried about myself. You know what I mean? Got some armor. Now this is an extreme quest, so we are going to need to dope with apples. Anything to boost your attack, because we should be using like sigil, I don't know at this point, like level, I don't know, like 4 or 5 maybe? But we're in like 2 and 3 still, like really bad. We're not going to break its parts because it's way up there. So we're just going to focus on doing lots of damage very fast. Oh, so I still have an apple left. Let me go grab that. That's plus 200 attack. I've only got 174 right now because I'm tanking it. But I did a run of Alice. I went to floor 15 with an Avalon build that was 1 level of life and 99 levels of magic. And a special sigil that makes it so that you only have 1 HP at all times. You can't ever have more than 1 HP. And what was really awesome about that was Incubus has this evade spell, this little ice skate thing that it's been using. And if you get hit in it, you end up with 1 life point. It's just perfect for the Avalon build. You notice here we're using a lot of offerings, so we shouldn't be doing that. But anyways, I was able to get to floor 15 just using long distance, smart timing, and lots of laser beams. Finally, it dies. That was a very long floor. Luckily, you guys didn't have to see all that because I edited it out. Okay, we've got... What floor are we on? 5, I think? Which means next floor is Alice. This Alice must have been one heck of a sorceress if she was able to take down all these monsters before. It's kind of crazy. But then again, this is kind of like a wonderland at this point, so it could just be anything. Who knows? Okay, so Alice is a sort of palette swap for Incubus. So if you know how to fight Incubus, you know how to fight Alice. It's going to be an extreme version. So she's going to have lots of health. Ooh, we got a rabbit here. So this is not going to go away. So we can use a black right when we really need it, or we can make repairs. So that's really good to know. So let me dope up. Oh god, Alice is already hitting at me. Sheesh, she already killed the... Alice! Stop it! She's like a very extreme version of Incubus with a whip. Get on our armor. Oh, move, move! She's doing a white Vitalis move. What parts does she have to break? Arms and head, okay. I can work with that. So Alice's thing is you want to be behind her at all times. You get in front of her and you are going to pay for it dearly. She's got fire breath, she's got slide, tackles, all sorts of horrific stuff that she can do to you. Back those arms. Oh, she's back up already. Man, that's fast. So just stay behind her. Do not get yourself caught. Don't get greedy. Get behind her. Let me just stand back so you guys can see a little bit more of what the monster's doing. That slide really hurts, by the way. Blood splatters. Whip swipe. Psh, psh. Oh gosh, no, these hats are... Oh man. It's a good thing I have the Durahan armor on because those hats do damage. So what I'm worried about is when she gets lower in health, she's going to do the teapots. And the teapots, honestly, I would say your best strategy is to just run for your life. They are so powerful. They will two-shot you. Oh, good God. See why you don't want to be in front of her? So let's use our black right because we can actually refresh it. Are we going to pull it off in time? Yes. Okay. Hey, Alice, eat this. Go get her, girls. So they're going to get in a bunch of damage while I'm holding her down. I'll quick restore my black right, and I'm going to get into the wide area because I do not want to be trapped over in this area when she starts doing teapots. This is where evasion skills are really good, like those feathers and stuff, so you can get the heck out of there.
We must retreat.
Out, 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 get out. Oh, good God, the teapots have started. No, no. Okay, so the teapots over here are going crazy. You see these things? Yeah, they make me throw up at Disneyland. I can't ride them. And she's doing like white fatalis thunderbolts under me. These things will hurt you so bad. In fact, I'll show you how. Never mind. So make sure you do not accidentally hit the button to sacrifice or to retire. So she's going to restore my health. Thank you, Sympatha. You're the best. Don't be frustrated. You can actually die like unlimited. I've died like, I think one floor I died probably 60 times. I'm not joking. It's crazy. Sympatha was able to heal me and keep me going that entire time. She's just such an MVP. Okay, I got my perfect healer, so that's good. Get back on my armor. Is she at yellow yet? Yes, she is. Okay, good. I'm not going to even attempt to break all of her parts or anything like that. We just want to survive this floor. I think this has been a really good demo of what the maze is and why it's so cool. But what's really going to entice you is when you see the rewards that we're going to get. It's so good.
I'm a little concerned. Are you okay?
Uh-oh. Okay, now she's going into the floor. This is a dangerous phase if you don't know how to deal with her. I generally would just like to get the heck away from her. But there are some spells where you can punish her. But you see, everyone's getting hurt. So I'm just going to call everybody over here. You see how like we're already starting to run out of offerings? We got to be really careful about how we do these things. We don't have unlimited offerings. Except for blood. We have unlimited blood, which is nice. Psh, 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 psh. But it does take up our health. The cat Sith claws would be arguably better here because they take less of your health. So there's less of a risk of dying. Sympatha will heal me though, as she just did.
It looks like we've really worn it down. Don't forfeit your life. You have people to save. Are you sure you're alright?
Don't get greedy. Get out of there. Get behind her.
Fall back. Let me
Okay, Sympatha, heal me. Thank you. Best girl. Yeah, Simply got her. She got her hands full. Are we red at least? If she's red, I'm going to use a black right. She is. So let me do it the smart way. Summon a tree. Fuse it so it's plus 200 attack. Pick it up. Throw it on my girls. Now, do my black right. So she's doing plus 200 attack now. Of course, she's not S rank. It would be over by now if she was. And now we are going to hold Alice down. And she's going to pound her, doing big damage. Psh. We got her. And Alice runs away. See ya. So the important thing here is if we want to get out, and we know we want out, don't go near the teapot, because that will bring you down to floor 7, and you can't leave until floor 9's done. And you're going to get some really hard extreme quests. So we did really good. We got the floor 6, tons of points. Let's leave out. You will keep your score and rewards. Yes, let's get out. That was a good run. Wait till you see how many new offerings we're going to get, because they just give you so many. After a few dozen runs, you'll start running out of stuff that you didn't get. It's just such a great way to collect a bunch of stuff. You see how all these points count if you do them on each floor? So breaking parts and healing and stuff, like that adds up fast. So 33 minutes, oh my gosh. 3,200 points. So we managed, our record is floor 6 in 33 minutes. We got a title of Maze Novice, Alice's Victim, Alice's Disciple, Alice's Thrall, And wait till you see all this. Look at all that. So much new stuff to play with. And lots of random stuff too. So this is great. We got the teacups from Alice. That's great. Oh, we got so many random interesting things to use. We got some black spells, silver and bronze, a little bit of everything. This is great. Okay, let's do quick gain. Awesome. So this is going to give us two really good things, and you're going to see how the end game grind starts to come in to play here, because the top sigils will require plus drops from certain monsters, so you're going to need to unlock those packs for the extreme monsters so that you can get them. And you're going to want to get those sigils because you're going to want to go deeper in Alice's stuff. So you see we unlocked Puncture Sigil 5, that's good. So our int must have just like peaked. And we unlocked a new black ray called Vulcan, which I'll show you next time. Int is 35. We got tons of stuff. Oh, we got God Blood Sigil 4. Nice. And I think we might be able to use it. I think we have all the essence we need to unlock it. So that was a very successful run. So, two things. Not only did we get a lot of points, these points also translate into Slayer points. And if you remember, our ultimate goal is 1,100, 200 points. But we'll start getting stuff as we contribute more. So we got the title of Priest. We get some fun items. Great Priest. That's it. So I don't know what the next one is, but there you can unlock some really powerful sigils by doing these. And no, you cannot earn points in one faction and report it to another. It doesn't work like that. We probably have a absolute ton of rumors we haven't collected, which we can now start to enjoy because we're going to start doing packs. And now that we have int is up to 35, we should... Oh, we don't quite have access to this yet. It's going to be 36, I think. So, yeah, 36. We'll get access to this, and that gives us a whole page of 12 quests that are all extreme. That's going to be fun. Cool. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the run on Alice's maze. We'll do some more. We'll definitely be going into all the packs and doing all the monsters that we haven't faced, because there's a lot of them you have not seen yet. And we have the entire end game to enjoy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the end of the story of Sanctuarium. Stick around for more content, and until next time, happy hunting.